But how did you make the transition? For people that don't know, like we're in Paintsville, Kentucky right now. Do you live here all year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when did you move out from Minnesota?
I moved from Minnesota to West Palm Beach, Florida to go to college. And that was that would have been, I think, in 1998.
Okay.
And so 2005 is when I came here.
Yeah.
I had planned just to do a 3-month. I volunteered with Appalachian Service Project as a staff writer. So I was writing the stories. They have like 26 counties in 4 different states, and I worked with them for a summer. I just wanted to do something that was giving back. At that time I was an automotive service manager, and it was great. That's the career that I wanted to have, but it was the same old thing day after day. You're just making money. You're push it. To be an automotive service manager, you've got to be a little bit dishonest. You know what I mean? So you kind of feel slimy at the end of the day, because that's what it is. It's just, you're trying for your technicians, and then you've got the automotive companies, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so it compromises your morals slightly, and at the end of the day, you get people's cars fixed, but what's the thing? You make money, that's it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do something that was made a little bit more of a difference than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was that turning point from when you went, okay, because when you're a young kid, it's like money is
right.
That you in our society, it's like this is the goal. Everyone's like, oh, I want to be the guy in the Rolls Royce with a Rolex on my wrist and a big pool in my backyard.
Right.
But what I've been learning and watching and experiencing from other people, like money doesn't bring you happiness. So what was that shift in your life that changed that?
What ended up happening, it seemed like, anything that I would get that was nicer, I just wanted something better, and nothing kind of seemed to satisfy. So, like at the time, I had a jet ski, and then I ended up getting a sailboat, and then I had a great truck, and then I got a convertible because I wanted one of those things. And it's like, no matter what I got, just wanted something more, and I'm like, where does it end? And so, in reality, I was watching the movie Troy. With Brad Pitt, he's playing Achilles. And he's got to decide if he's going to have like just an easy breezy life, wine, women, and song and everything like that, or if he's going to go and fight this Trojan War, knowing he's going to die, but create a legacy. And I realized I was nothing like that, And at that point, it really hit me, because I knew I wasn't content, and I knew I wanted to do something with my life. So I went out on my porch and I prayed to God. I just said, God, can you, I just want contentment, and I want to be able to have a purpose, and you kind of got to watch out what you ask God for, because then he started working on me, and from that point, it kind of went from, different things just started happening that brought me closer to, I want to do something that's a little bit different than just making money.
Yeah, but how did you see God working in you? Because that's sometimes you don't know if it's him or not, and which way to follow. Like,
that's an interesting thing. How did I know that it was God? Looking back, I do, just from everything, but I don't think that you can really nail that it's God at the time. You kind of got to go with it, right? It's just, I don't know, it's a feeling. It's like your conscience or something like that, but I just felt like that's something I had to do, So at the time, when I say it now, it's easy to say, God was pushing me that way. Yeah. But at the time, it was kind of like I was just discontent, and I wanted to do something different, and I think God kept nudging me that way.
Yeah,
so,
had that feeling that you needed something else.
I didn't exactly say, oh yeah, God's calling me to do this. I realized that years later.
Yeah, so. That's like we had the sermon the other day where we had mass, and the priest was talking about a good branch or good vine lends good fruit, and a bad vine can only produce rotten fruit.
Yeah.
So when you do an action or make a choice, if it has good consequences, then it's probably a good choice.
That's true. Yeah, it's good fruit, right?
Yeah, it's good fruit. Yeah, that's what it was.
Exactly.
And I find that very interesting, because it's kind of hard to tell in the moment what you're doing right. And your dad was talking about yesterday, when you have a good group around you that come around something like your dad did and your mom did around you with good neighbors, like they're good signs that point you in the right direction. Yeah. So what would, like, how do you get to the point where you're like, I'm coming out? How do you choose Paintsville?
So, when I was working as a staff writer, I was trying to find the area that, from my dad's book, and by talking to him, where he had done his work back in the late '60s, and I thought I found it. Well, I got really, really close. I got within like a mile.
Really?
But I called him and I said, "Yeah, Dad, I'm in this area." Well, it was Paintsville, and that was the closest place that had a hotel. So it's like the Paintsville Ramada. That's like, within walking distance to here. And so he decided he'd come down and try to figure it out too. So that's basically why it was here. And then I realized, like, this community in particular had a great Rotary Club, great Kiwanis Club, great Chamber of Commerce. There's a lot of people that wanted to do good in the community, especially when I first moved here. And so it seemed like a great place. And then I found the volunteer lodge. You saw that.
Yeah.
It was like $12,000, but it had a big porch, and I just kind of had a vision. I'm like, yeah, I could use that thing, be playing guitar, and I can get volunteers in, and we can help people. So
were you just driving past that lodge and you saw the deck? And you're like, that's it?
I saw it in the real estate magazine.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I drove past it. I was like, yeah, that's cool. And the price was right. So,
yeah. It was. Yeah. I mean, you guys did a lot of work on it. But what was the story that got you, instead of working from just any old? Because didn't you do volunteer work with people that didn't have jobs to help them out first?
Yeah.
Before?
So as I worked as a staff writer, what I ended up seeing, the typical situation was, and these people do need help. I don't want to act like I'm just helping the people that ought to be helped. But you would have 3 generations of people living in the same house. So you would have the grandparents who had worked primarily in the mines. Then you'd have their kids that were on government assistance, and then you would have the grandkids who were super cute. I mean, you're talking to them and everything, but you'd ask them questions like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And instead of saying, "I want to be a doctor, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be a cop," they would say, "Oh yeah, I want a big truck, or I want a big house, or I want this 4-wheeler and stuff." So it was a little bit different, than you and I would think in terms of careers. It's just they wanted the thing. So you're looking at generations of, it's just going to be government assistance. They're not going to get out of that particular situation, and it was kind of depressing. I mean, people they didn't have hope, and I was kind of getting bummed. I'm writing the stories or whatever, and then I met a family in Oak Hill, West Virginia, and it was different when I met them. I mean, they didn't have that dead look in their eyes. They looked excited, and they looked happy, kind of like go-getters. I mean, like you and I look.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to him, and the husband, they had a dilapidated 1-bedroom trailer. They were worried about losing their kids and everything just because of the condition of their home. Yeah, floors are falling through, roofs leaking. 1 bedroom, they got 2 little kids. But the guy tells me, yeah, it's super cool. So I just got a job as a cook at Cracker Barrel. He had been at Burger King before, so it was like $1.50 an hour or something more. Yeah. And he said, yeah, and they have health insurance and a 401k, all this kind of stuff. So he was pumped about that. And then his wife had just, while she was pregnant, got her CNA certificate. She had been working 16 hours a week at the hospital. That's all that she could get as a receptionist. Mm-hmm. But now she'd be able to work 40 at minimum wage, so she was excited too. All they needed, they had a lot of work that needed to be done to their house they couldn't afford, but that would give them the boost, and I'm pumped. I want to go back and write this story. I'm like, yeah, this is the family that we're going to help, and then they're going to, they're going to make it. They're going to be great. And they asked me not to write the story. Mm-hmm. They go, you can't tell your organization about our jobs. I said, why? And they said, because then we wouldn't qualify for the assistance. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm like, 2 people working at minimum wage. Yeah. But it's true. I mean, they were right above the level that they get help. So, I didn't say anything, the organization that I was working with, but I found out, talking, that point was where the people really couldn't get help from other organizations that were around. There wasn't one that was just helping out working poor families. So anyway, go back like a month later, and I talked to them. And they were so excited. Their house was done. I mean, they've got their new, albeit minimum wage jobs, but I mean, they're rocking and rolling. and they had saved up before we started. They had like $600 they had saved up to work on their house. Well, since it got done, they were so excited to show me that they had used that to pay somebody to build a ramp. That one of their neighbors was a disabled veteran that needed a ramp really bad, and they didn't make the cut, for another organization. They didn't have time, so they used that to help them. And I said, man, that's the people that I want to help. I really, really do. So I decided to just give it a whirl. And that's been like 16 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So what was the path to get Good Neighbors started?
So when I got here, first part was just kind of getting involved in the community. So I joined the Rotary Club, became a member of Chamber of Commerce, volunteered for like everything going on, just so I could, meet all the key players that were movers and shakers in doing good things for the community. And in addition, I play harmonica, so music here is like, if there's like an international language or whatever, I became, instead of like an outsider, somebody here. So it was pretty cool with that. So I'm playing harmonica at everything from church things to bars to whatever, And so I met a lot of people doing that, but really just became part of the community.
Yeah.
And then I started getting volunteer groups. I had I went to a Christian high school. They came down. My home church from Minnesota came out, and then just word of mouth. I know that God did some of this because you guys finding us, and I think St. Matt's did first, and I have no idea how they ended up finding us, but
yeah, I think I don't know how St. Matt's found it, but I think Mark worked at St. Matt's before, and then when he came over to our parish, he was like, they're doing something great. We got to go down to Kentucky.
Yeah, so groups just ended up finding us, and then we had some word of mouth, and and then now we have like Temple University. We've had IUPUI come down, Miami of Ohio. We've had a bunch of college groups, a bunch of church groups. It's been cool.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
And you help so many people. Like, how do you go through the selection process of finding who to help? Because there's so many people. Mm-hmm. Do they apply to the organization?
They do apply, and then we just take a look at their situation. So there's a few things. We want to make sure that they're normally self-sufficient. They're not somebody who's trying to get help from every single source. And then they've got to so the process is we'll make sure that their home is friendly for volunteers. They don't have like a whole bunch of needles laying around and all that kind of stuff. But they go through 5 weeks of financial training. So it's an hour session. We get all the families that we're helping together. And it talks to them about saving basically $5 a day. So everybody wastes $5 a day on something. I don't care how poor you are.
Yeah.
It can be, an energy drink at the gas station is half of that.
Yeah.
Right. And, or eating lunch out or cable TV, anything like that. So we have them go through this. That creates discipline anyway, showing up. And then they have to bring in their $5 a day in like a little jar. And so they use the first $250, so they've got skin in the game on their project. And then we have them also, 10% of that, we have them pool together and give to another cause within the community. So it's kind of teaching them to give back and everything too. But if they go through that, then we pretty much know, okay, they're committed to this. Make sure that that they really need it, and then we work on their homes.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think it's so awesome how instead of, like, I love I don't know if it's a saying, just you teach a man to fish, he'll eat for the rest of his life. Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Yeah. Like, you're actually teaching people how to be self-sustainable and how to save their money and put it to good causes and still get by. And I think that's so amazing, because when you just go to someone's house and just build it for them, you don't teach them anything.
Exactly.
And that helps no one, because then, okay, in 10 years when their house gets broken down again, they're not going to have the money or the knowledge to know how to fix it. And it kind of seems like there's a lot of just handouts just to be like, get out of my face. Like, we're going to help, but we're not really going to help. We're going to help in the short term, but this seems like a real long-term plan. And I really love that.
And a lot of my, most of my staff actually has come from people that we helped out to begin with. So,
which is even,
it's a lot of fun.
Part.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
That's when you know you're doing something right.
Absolutely.
Because the people that you're helping, like Les, right?
Yeah.
When did he join your program, or not program? Your group.
I think it's 4 or 5 years ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then Chad was the same way. His house flooded, and that's how he started. Matt, we helped out as well. And then TJ, we helped out on his mom's house. So most of the staff this week, we started out by helping him out.
Yeah. Yo. What's good?
Hi. Oh,
Yeah. What's up?
I was just wondering, can you forward what Mrs. Spiro sent you? The goods and bads.
I don't have it.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah,
She
no.
said you got it.
I don't.
Never mind.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Sorry.
It's okay, man. That's Brian. We call him Ace. He's on the work site. But
Good guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. What do you attribute like that them keep coming back to the organization? What do you think that is?
I think, well, they catch the vision. They want to make a difference. I think that, well, anybody that we help are hardworking people. Like, we have one part in the financial training class, and this is my favorite part. We ask people, what if you're financially secure and had thousands of extra dollars? What would you do with that? Never had anybody say, I would buy, a four-wheeler. I'd buy, a great truck. I'd buy a big screen TV. Never have that. It's always something to help out their church, help out their school, help out their kids' baseball team, whatever. So they've got such hearts for helping, and then there's an opportunity for them to help. If they have any skills in terms of that, they want to be part of it.
Yeah. That's awesome because
So it's great.
it's so different in Jersey. And I don't know how it is in Minnesota, but in Jersey, it's kind of just fend for yourself. Like, figure it out. No one cares. If you're falling behind, all right, see ya. Like, they don't care.
Yeah.
And I don't know what is different because here, everyone's willing to help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was it like in Minnesota? Was it similar in a way of, like, everyone helping out, or?
Not always. I mean, the people that I like in my church, and the friends that I had growing up, they would be like that. I mean, to help out friends and family and everything. I'm not sure about, they'd help out with the food pantry and everything, but it's not. I think culturally, you're probably looking closer to Jersey than you would be here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not putting down Minnesota. We're all kind. Right? That's our
So close to Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. Eh?
Yeah.
I could talk like I'm a Minnesotan for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
If you want me to. Don't you know?
Yeah.